Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of KITAKUBU BAKO. So in this episode, super exciting one because I'm going to be talking to someone who is in the whole social media managing world, and this profession is something that I've been interested in for quite some time now, but it's not just a normal social media manager. This person does managing for companies that do English publications for manga, light novels, and a card game that's going on right now that's kind of booming right now. Of course, anime as well. And that person is Jaden. How you doing, man?
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here. Doing good.
So so Jaden and I, we actually followed each other on on Twitter for quite some time, but we never really had a conversation until literally now I decided to reach out to him. And but yeah, you are a social media manager, but first of all, we have to go in to the anime part because obviously anime play the big part of that. How did you get into anime? And I know specifically you were really into the Index series.
Yes. So I've been in the anime for quite a few years now. So actually, I was mainly just like a Dragon Ball Z kid growing up. I didn't really grow up with anime. I was big into like Nintendo. That was like my main thing. I'm so into Nintendo pretty heavily, but overall, like Nintendo, like I used to even do YouTube videos on my old channel called like Blast Tunes, old Nintendo videos. So I always grew into that. And then eventually I started just branching out. I thought anime was getting cool, so like I started watching more series like Sword Art Online, Attack on Titan, the very mainstream stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then ended up watching like series like Steins Gate, Clannad Girl, and all those was like my favorite. And then as you do like Fate, I got into the Fate franchise pretty heavily too. I watched like all the Ufotable stuff. I thought it was like the coolest thing ever.
Uh-huh.
And that just had me go deeper and deeper. Now I'm caught up with like all the Fate manga
Oh wow,
franchise.
really? Like, literally all
Yeah,
of them,
like
or
yeah, basically like I'm caught up with Elia, Red Line, Strange Fake,
oh
all
wow,
that. Yeah, so I'm into Fate.
that's
So yeah,
pretty
so
crazy.
so
Even,
for
even I'm not
Index.
even I don't read all the manga for Fate, so
Yeah, so then, so for Index specifically, it was just another one of the shows I watched. So
uh-huh.
early on, I did like opening reactions. It was very like low key and show something I did on the side. And
Uh-huh.
then a certain Magical Index opens it up to me, and I heard it's like a really big franchise. And me, I like diving into like big, intimidating franchises, like something that's more than just like a season of an anime. That's what really catches my interest. And then I ended up watching it like the whole watch order, because in terms of like with an Index Railgun and Accelerator, there's like 7 seasons in total. So I got super interested in it, and I seen like there's like an untapped market for it on YouTube. So
Uh-huh.
then I ended up making a lot of content creation for it. So it's kind of like what my YouTube channel been based off of a lot, like symmetrical index series and like manga related videos. And it's funny too because even though it's not an anime, there's always something going on with the franchise, like with new announcements, because we have the mobile game by like Square Enix still ongoing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
I forgot
then
about that.
yeah, and then like the light novel still ongoing. We have like well, right now there's like 4 ongoing spin-offs, like 2 light novels, manga.
Oh right,
And some
yeah,
really stupid.
a new one came out recently, right? I can't
Yeah,
remember
but,
what it was about.
like one of the censors of the girls like item.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so like so much stuff going on, like random things like Yanfest released like the New Testament in English now, the sequel series of the original lineup. So like there's always something. So I thought it would be a good series to cover. So it's something to talk about. So yeah, so I did end up slowing down a bit. I'm not out of the franchise. I want to make that very clear. I definitely want to get back to it because there's so much stuff to cover too. So yeah, so pretty much it. So I'm pretty much watching a wide array of franchises now. Pretty big in anime as a whole.
Okay, got it. So okay, so I understand the whole anime part and then the whole the index and all that, but like how did that transition to social media manager? Because I mean, like social media manager, obviously it can branch out to all these different categories, but like specifically because of your passion for anime, did that lead into going into that anime social media manager aspect?
Yeah, definitely. So let me give you the lore here. So originally, actually I still am. So originally my whole career was in graphic design.
Okay.
So I learned how to do graphic design. I got fully self-taught. So I learned just from making my YouTube thumbnails and YouTube like banners and all that. That's all I did. And then I ended up like helping out a few friends because I was like friends with like a lot of Nintendo YouTubers. So like we still are, and so I help out like their thumbnails and people check it out. Like it kind of branch up like, oh, where'd you get that thumbnail from? I was like, oh, my friend made it. And so I ended up opening commissions for
Okay.
like thumbnails and banners, and it was like really cool. So like people started commissioning me for like banners and thumbnails and all that. So then I just basically learned the graphic design that way.
Okay.
So I pretty much was doing that, and ended up. So previously, before all the manga stuff, I was heavily in the esports.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna bring that
yeah,
up. I saw your website and I saw that you for Armada, I think it was.
yes,
Yeah,
Armada.
Yeah.
Yes, so I got into Armada when I was like really young. So actually, I was like just a fan, and I was like, I was heavily into Super Smash Bros. I did like graphic design. I was a YouTuber, so
Hmm.
I thought, maybe I could get involved a little bit. So I just straight up messaged the CEO. I was like, "Yo, hey, how's it going, man? This looks pretty cool. You want to have a you want to talk?"
Uh-huh.
And then so then we ended up talking, and he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we can help out." So I ended up doing community management and graphic design for them. So I recruited influencers and I managed the stream team for Armada. So then we ended up starting the company started growing a lot because we ended up getting like we had a lot of pro players in Smash Bros and ended up competing very well. Like ended up winning a lot of big tournaments,
Uh-huh.
and then we ended up getting sponsored by G Fuel.
Uh-huh.
So that's like the whole esports hype right there. So I was
Okay.
in Armada. It wasn't nothing serious here, but it was a very like passionate project, just a group of people, very passionate. It wasn't like full time or anything. And I was also very young at the time, so I did that for a little over 2 years actually.
Hmm.
And I was basically doing content management and a little bit of graphic design for that. So that's how I basically was like, aside from, so basically I was just only a graphic designer. So I was doing freelance commissions for various YouTubers,
Hmm.
and I was doing like graphic design for Armada, and it was like a little bit of community management. So that
It's.
was that. So, but then this is how I got in the whole manga. So
Uh-huh.
I ended up seeing, so my first ever job was at Yen Press, the
Uh-huh.
manga light novel publisher owned by like Kadokawa.
Yeah.
So basically, it's actually kind of funny too. So since I made a lot of graphics for like
I think your
anime
mic is kind
YouTubers.
of muffling right now. I don't
Oh,
know.
is it good?
It's. Can you test it again?
Hello, hello.
Oh, there you go. Okay, better.
Okay, yeah. Okay, it's good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So I ended up. So I always followed Young Press on Twitter, and I saw they was hiring a design intern in New York City, where that's where I live. So I ended up applying for it, and it was funny because my portfolio featured a lot of the IPs Young Press have, like Sword Art Online, Brazil, and all that, because like just the creators that commission me, all the stuff I'm interested in happens to be a lot of Young Press titles and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So there I ended up. That was like also in a good concept. This is the first ever job I applied for or interviewed. So I ended up applying for that. I would at the time looking back at it, my resume was portfolio was it was like it basically was like, but they ended up taking a chance on me. So I ended up getting the internship.
Uh-huh.
So I was the graphic designer for Yen Press. So I did a 6-month internship there, and there I did a lot of ads. That's when we released Solo Leveling. So I pretty much did a lot of marketing. So I did a lot of advertisements for that. So like we did a lot of website takeovers for like Anime News Network and a lot of graphic ads.
Oh, so that's like all you basically.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So yeah, but then I ended up designing light novels for Yen Press as well.
What,
So I ended up.
what do you mean by designing light novels? Like,
Yeah.
I saw on your website like covers and stuff. Like, you mean like you designed the English covers and stuff like that?
Yeah. So basically we receive assets from Japan,
Uh-huh.
and so like the Japan licensors, and so I ended up basically, so we receive assets from Japan and we got to make it to the English formatted language.
Uh-huh.
So so we're giving this for Japan, and obviously with the size ratio for America, so we basically with the English logo, text, and everything, really take in the file, and I work in InDesign to design an English formatted version. That's include the cover, the spine, and the back cover. So there, I worked on a few series like Sword Art Online. I designed the volume for Sword Art Online, Sword Art Online Gun Gale, 3-0, High School DxD, A Cell World, and I worked on some digital chapters too. Like I worked on the Don Machi spin-off, Sword Oratoria. I worked on like Kingdom Hearts
Oh wow.
and a few other digital series. So I was the intern. When I first joined Yen Press, the company was quite small compared to what it is now.
Uh-huh.
So with my team was only 3 people in design.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so pretty much I was like helping out a lot. I was doing a lot more for like the typical intern, right? So yeah, so that's when I started doing a lot of design stuff. So I worked on basically a lot of ads, like for the longest time. Also, actually graphics that are in here, parts of the templatized graphics or stuff I still worked on. So I still use like my templates here and there. So that was my design internship.
Uh-huh.
Actually, wait, I think my TV turned off.
Yeah, no worries.
I don't know why I just turned it open and like didn't pick it up.
No worries.
Yes.
Also, I don't know. Your mic keeps it kind of like statics a little bit here and there. I'm not sure if
Okay,
that's
hold on. I can fix that.
yeah.
Okay, should be good now.
Oh, way better.
Was I using the wrong mic the whole time?
I think so. I'm not
Okay.
sure, but it's fine. I'll figure it out on my end. So no worries. Yeah,
Okay.
it sounds way better now.
Oh, I don't know.
All good.
Oh, I was probably using like this or something. I don't know. Yeah. So that was my design internship for Yen Press. So then I ended up helping them out actually with video work since I was like YouTube and stuff. So we basically did a panel. I'm trying to remember which panel it was. I think we did Crunchyroll Virtual Expo, and this was like during COVID. and
Oh,
everything.
I
So,
remember
like,
that.
there's, like,
Yeah.
yeah, so they was like, oh man, we need to record a panel. And it was like, but no one knows how to do like video stuff. And it was like, oh, I mean, I think Jaden knows how to do video. I was like, as like the Wii design intern, I was like, oh yeah, I can help you. So basically, like set up at the library in the office and did like a video. So I was like had my camera at the time, and I pretty much shot it, and they was like pretty impressed by it. And I was like, oh, this kid, I was like, yeah, it's cool. And so then I ended up talking more with the marketing team and stuff, and they realized I did like YouTube, and like I know a lot of the influencer stuff. And it's like, okay, so I only got hired for an internship of 6 months, but then at the end of my term, they was like, oh, would you like to do another internship but in the marketing team? And I was like, oh, I'd love to. So then that's when I did another 6 months as an intern in marketing at Yen Press. So then that's when I was in the marketing team. So there, I did a lot. Ended up like doing a lot of like the publicity. I did a lot of social media. Did a lot of influencer management. I attended a lot of conventions. Like I did New York Comic Con, Anime NYC. So during that time period, like pretty much all the graphics on the socials made by me, all photography. I created like the company TikTok page. I did a lot of like influencer stuff. We did a lot of like big projects with like Disney at the time, and then that's when we started launching more imprints like Yen Audio, our audiobook imprint at the time. So we did the launch of that, and then a lot of popular series came out, like Solo Leveling is still doing good, and like The Beginning After the End release, and so many like popular titles. So I was pretty much like marketing and strategizing all of that. So I did a lot of social media, photography, graphic design, events, a lot of networking. So yeah, so that's when I realized, oh, I kind of like marketing, because like I will say the design internship, I definitely struggled more compared to the marketing, because like I'm not used to like a professional setting where I was getting like pure feedback and receiving approval from these licensors, like Japanese licensors like Kadokawa, Square Enix is definitely challenging. So I ended up just liking marketing more, and also marketing, I can still do design, I can still do photography, because I kind of do a little bit of things here and there. And then so like during my internship, I ended up working and meeting with a lot of companies. Like I did a couple of things for like Crunchyroll and pretty much all the companies throughout the board in the industry there. And that's how I networked and learned so much. So I was like super grateful for that opportunity. So that's how I transitioned basically from graphic design to more of social media marketing. So then after my 1 year term at Yen Press, I worked at Yen Press for a year. Then I ended up doing contract work for Yen Press for about 8 months. So there I was basically doing designs. So we basically made a brand new website from scratch, and I was designing a lot of assets for it. So like the series catalog and banners, like how you see on like Netflix or something, I designed like hundreds of these like little squares for that. And then in addition, I was also looking for more work too. So my boss is super great, because they're like a mentor. He helped me out so much. He ended up like, helping me like pretty much network around. So then ended up doing work for Anime News Network. I designed their live stream series, the ANN After Show.
Oh, okay.
So like, so their YouTube and live stream series is what I designed and developed for them. So then I ended up doing more work too. Like, so basically I was just a full-time freelancer or contractor for like 8 months. So then I was like doing work for J Novel Club. I was the graphic designer for them, and I still am. So I design right now. I have, I believe, 4 to 5 ongoing series. So like, my first ever series I got was I Parry Everything, and now it's receiving an anime adaptation in October. So that's gonna be pretty cool. They actually have a panel at Anime Expo debuting the anime.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, so the first ever like light novel series I worked on for J Novel Club is now getting an anime like over like a year or two later.
That's
So it's
really
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So I was super excited about that. So that's the first series, and I work on a few other ones like Finding Avalon, Sword Saint Adele, and then Light Magic. So those are like 4 series, and then the manga adaptation for our period take. So that's where I do logo design, very similar to what I did during my design internship at Yen Press. So I do
Uh-huh.
that for J Novel Club. It's very light work. It's pretty much project based. So once like it's ready for next cover. So
Mhm.
like pretty much ongoing release. So once there's a new volume in Japan, J Novel Club translates it and do like that. So I pretty much do graphic design for J Novel Club as well. But then now I also now do social media for the company Tokyo Pop.
Mhm.
So basically, originally they was hiring someone to help moderate their Discord server.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was super random. I was like, oh, I guess I'll give it a shot. So ended up, I was like, okay. So I ended up applying for it and ended up like getting the gig. So be like the community manager for the Discord server. It was very specific, and I did nothing else for like a few months until I guess they ended up because like I also said in my interview like what I did,
Mhm.
but I guess the higher ups people realized like what I've done for like Yan Press and stuff like that. So what happened was the social media person for Tokyo Pop ended up leaving Tokyo Pop for another opportunity.
Uh-huh.
So instead of like opening a position or anything, the owner of the company just straight up emailed me, said, "Hey Jaden, I know you done stuff at Yan Press.
Uh-huh.
You wanna do social media for us?" And I was like, yeah, that'd be really cool. So then we ended up like talking, and this is over a year now. So I've been running the Tokyo Pop social media for a year now.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so everything on Tokyo Pop I manage now, all pages. So like every photo, graphic design,
Uh-huh.
posts, basically everything for the past year have been fully me.
Wow.
So I guess I like that, like I have visions for Tokyo Pop. So when I first joined the company, I basically pitched so many ideas. I'm like, yeah, you should be doing this, should be doing that. So now I got into the position where like, oh, I mean, it's my ideas now. I think we should be doing this, so I'm gonna like do this.
That's really
So
cool. Like, I'm
yeah,
sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, so it came to the point where I started managing all of Tokyo Pop social media. So I do a bit more too with like events,
Mhm.
general marketing, influencer stuff like that. So yeah, so pretty much I'm the only person that runs the Tokyo Pop social media. And yeah, so we have like a full-on schedule, full-on everything from like Japan, licensors, and
Uh-huh.
everything like that. So we have like I work with a lot of like gaming companies too, like with Tokyo Pop. So like Capcom and Ubisoft specifically, we release a lot of gaming tie-ins, like from Far Cry, Resident Evil, Watch Dogs.
Mhm.
We had a Netflix show called Captain Laserhawk. So we have like a manga adaptation for that, and on top of that, we have a lot of Disney titles. So I work with Disney quite a bit. We have a lot of Disney stuff coming out soon, and then of course all the Japanese properties. We have a series that recently got an anime called Sengoku Yoku. So
Mm.
that was on Crunchyroll. So that was like one of our series that receiving anime adaptation. And then we have our Love Love imprint. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with Tokyo Pop. But yeah, so that's what I do for Tokyo Pop. And yeah, so currently right now I work too much. But so yeah, I'm contracted at Tokyo Pop and I do like freelance here and there for your J Novel Club.
Mhm.
But so I guess I could say how I got into Grand Archive.
Yeah.
So
So, but I mean,
yeah,
before we get in the Grand Archive, going back to the whole social media thing, like I understand that you said that you're the one controlling everything. You're posting everything, taking all the pictures and stuff like that.
yeah,
Is this something that you have to like discuss with like the higher ups? Hey, I'm gonna post this at this time, or this
yeah.
is the idea of why I'm gonna post this. You actually have to have those conversations.
So actually not too much as you expect.
Wow.
So if it's
Okay.
something that needs licensor approval, yes. Like
Okay.
if it's like a graphic that a licensor needs to see, then 100%. It
Okay.
would need to receive licensor approval and it needs to go through rounds of things. But most things like photos or captions and stuff, pretty much wouldn't need it. So yeah, so basically what I do is I propose a monthly calendar,
Hmm.
and it's basically we have a monthly calendar, pretty basically what all I'm gonna post for like let's say the month of June.
Hmm.
So there I present to them the calendar. So basically it's a lot of like working around news, working around release dates for print and digital.
Hmm.
So always highlight that, and then like all the stuff in between. So now for the past like 4 months now, I'm trying to post every single day with something new.
Hmm.
And as we release we're starting to release more books now, so it's becoming a bit more easier. So especially with us like starting to do more announcements now and like with Anime Expo build up. It's looking pretty good. So yeah, so basically if it's a more of a graphic, there's definitely internal discussion like, oh, you know, maybe we could present it this way or this way. Like for example, everything that's like Disney related or like Capcom, Ubisoft, all needs licensor approval. So that have to go through them. But most of the stuff from Japan is a bit more easier, especially with the
Really?
licensors we work for. Yen Press is a bit different. A lot of like every graphic needs to be seen through Kadokawa. But the good thing is with photos, like basically, because like if it's a book is printed physically, that means the book is like we're licensor approved. It's out in public. So if you take a photo of it, you don't need approval. And you don't need approval for caption. So the only people that would need approval for like the actual written caption is like someone like Disney or Ubisoft or Capcom.
I see. Okay, yeah, because like I mean, I'm familiar working with Japanese companies. I mean, I work at a Japanese company right now, but to always get something approved, we have to go through like this person above him kind of thing. So I that's what I thought. I thought maybe it would be something similar like that. But I mean, hearing the Kadokawa part, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But okay, that's pretty cool. So basically, you mostly you have freedom to do stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's definitely all ties into like basically our big highlights of the month. We always try to like feature a title that's releasing, like kind of highlight that, prioritize that with our ongoing partners and like all of our releases, make sure to post every like digital release and physical release. Definitely like stuff like that, and all the in-betweens. Like kind of we do like a monthly sync where we kind of know what to look forward to for the month. There's a lot of like in between planning and stuff like that. So there's definitely a lot of thought that goes into it. But for about it's pretty much a general idea. We like all come together. It ends up actually basically like me proposing like, oh, I have this idea. It's like, okay, sounds good. And I just basically end up doing it.
Okay.
But anything that's more ambitious is definitely more of a team thing.
Got it. That's really interesting. I mean, that's really, really cool, actually. If you think about it. Yeah, I've always wanted to understand how that actually. I mean, I had an idea, but like, okay, to actually hear it from you, that everything just makes sense now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, let's go in the Grand Archive. So I know about Grand Archive. Unfortunately, I've never played it. I have been interested in it. Because I have local card shops that do hold the product. I've met TM32, Shinja and them. I know them. I know they handle the streaming and like the video work part, right, for Grand Archive. So how did that become a thing? How did you get into Grand Archive, or how did you start working with them?
Yeah, so super funny. So basically it was like basically the super hookup. So I was working at outside of Manga since Tokyopop and so after my contract ended with Yen Press, I was basically just doing freelance for Tokyopop and J Novel Club. So I was looking for full-time work. So I completely forgot to mention. So I ended up working full-time for an internet publishing company called Ranker. And there, so there I managed their anime Facebook page. I have like nearly 1 million followers now.
Oh wow!
So I managed that for like a whole year. The company ended up doing a lot of changes. So like they did like 2 rounds of layoffs, and I didn't get affected, but it affected my whole team. And so basically my whole team got affected except for me. Then they drifted me away from anime to doing all pop culture. So there was like 2 months where I was managing pages in total of like 30 to 60 million. And it wasn't really my style. I basically joined the company for anime. I wanted to stay in the niche of anime. And so I wasn't having the most fun with Ranker.
Right.
And so, which is still a super stressful company. I loved my team. But came to the point, like, I was telling my friends, like, oh man, yo, Ranker, man. And so I'm actually close friends with one of the devs at Grand Archive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think you're familiar. So I'm in a friend group with one of the devs of Grand Archive. So yeah, he ended up like helping me out a lot. So like I'm pretty sure if familiar with Ken.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's my close friend. So we're in like a big friend group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we've been friends for like 7 years now. We like call like every day.
Wait, we're talking about the figure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm in like that big friend group, and one of his friends, like, he always did his own thing with like, so I've known him way before Grand Archive. So like when he was doing like his other like project before then. So So yeah, so I was doing like my whole Manga anime thing. He was doing his thing. We was all like just calling every night, playing random games like Counter-Strike, just like messing around and trolling basically. And so then it came to the point. So we see like my friend, like his game is like popping off Grand Archive, and I was like, oh wow, this is like it's pretty cool. But like obviously it's a friend, so like kind of poking him a little bit. And then meanwhile, I was like kind of complaining like, oh, Ranker, man, to get it kind of annoying. He's like, dude, just like work for me. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm like, oh no. And it's also, to give context at the time, this is when I got into Weiss pretty heavily. So I was definitely bigger into Weiss before. I'm still am now. So that's when I was like buying a lot of boxes. Like I was like one of those whatnot sniper guys over here. So I was like got pretty big in the Weiss, and then my friend who's the one of those that got was big in the card games as well. So we ended up like we was already friends, but like the card game stuff, we ended up bonding a lot more. So I ended up like buying a lot of Weiss and stuff like that. So then when I was working at Ranker, I was always like a bit complaining. It's like, oh man, dude, just come work for me, man. We need the help. And I was like, oh no. So I ended up doing like a little contract position with them to truly like test it out. So I did contracts for Grand Archive for like 2 months, like it was like a month and a half. And I was like, oh, this was like super sick. It's like really, really cool. And so then ended up like basically putting in my 2-week notice at Ranker. Then I switched to Grand Archive full time.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's really cool. That's pretty crazy that that one of the devs from Grand Archive. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 3 people, right? Or
yeah, so it's a bit bigger than I'd say. The full team now is like 10 people now, but the core people who created the game is like 4 people.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's great. Yeah, it's getting really big. I mean, it's not only here in the U.S., it's in some Asian countries too. I think like Malaysia and Taiwan. Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy. Like I mean, the artwork is amazing in that set. I mean, they have signatures from the artists, if I'm not mistaken, stuff like that. Yeah, that's really cool. Like I've been really meaning to get into that. So, yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, so that's pretty much how I got into it. So like card games. So as like I also played Pokemon like during like XY Black and White. So I was big into Pokemon as well, and then I got into Weiss and like all the other Japanese games like Wii Cross, Rebirth, all that type of stuff. So I definitely was familiar with the whole card game thing. So yeah, so it was like, and it was also like anime inspired. So it was like a pretty good transition. And so there I ended up doing the social media. So yeah, so basically for that, so all the graphic design you see on the social media too is also I designed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like very small too. So yeah, so on top of that, I'm doing general marketing things. I manage all the social media platforms and I do all the designs for the socials, and starting to do a lot of more up and coming projects soon. I'm gonna start doing events more too. So like I was at our big Worlds event.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, so I was doing full live coverage for that. That was my first event I did for Grand Archive. So that was really fun. So yeah.
Dang. Yeah, like I mean, looking at the event, it looks super fun. I'm looking at some photos right now, but yeah, it looks really cool. I mean, there was like a bunch of like canvas artwork there as well.
We had an art showcase. It was really, we had full on cosplayers. Like this event, I was already sold on Grand Archive, but meeting everyone that I like work with and like talk to and like all the community, it was like the coolest thing ever. Like I was already super passionate, but like my passions went up higher and higher, like just to see the community like full force. It was such a good time.
Dang. Yeah, like how is that community? Because like I mean like not to say anything, I'm not saying bad on Grand Archive or anything like that, but like where I play, like the card shops I go usually, they don't really I mean there's some card shops that do carry Grand Archive, but like it's not really at like to the point where all the card shops are holding singles or products. There's a place called Frankensons here in Southern California. Like I don't really see any. I mean, I see boxes being sold there, but not singles. Like how big is that community as of right now, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah,
it's definitely growing really, really big, especially with our recent set MRC. The like TCG player, like stuff like that is performing. Like some card prices are very, very high. Like for like this cards are very playable right now, and they're very high. Like a playable card right now is like $75, and it's just like a rare or something like that, like a ultra rare. So
that's
like
crazy.
Card market. And like the CSRs, our signature cards, are like
Oh yeah,
going on.
signature cards, like, you know, that's like,
Yeah.
that I understand, but like, okay.
Yeah, so like even like so basically everyone's like written the game and released two products called the Recollection.
Hmm.
So we had like our two of our characters, Sylvie and Tristan, and those are basically, in my opinion, one of the most genius card game products ever. As I like not even just because great archive. Like I'm big into this whole market,
Hmm.
and I think something like this super innovative. So basically, it's like a very good deck, like a fully like near competitive deck,
Uh-huh.
and it includes a very high quality storage box with 100 pack of Dragon Shield sleeves,
Wow.
and it includes like so it includes the deck itself and includes another box of basically all play sets of the extra cards, and
Are these
includes
cards
three
playable?
all playable. It's
Wow.
really good, and includes 3 packs of the newest set, along with like separation, the guides, and all that for the storage. And it's like basically it retails for $50. It's a little bit more like 60 now, but yeah, it's super. It's the most entry level thing. So when I went to the local, so actually because I never went to Organic Archive local, so
Uh-huh.
because as I also kind of feel you, I don't have there's not much in New York, so I ended up going to Jersey, which is not too far from me, so it's like
Hmm.
worth the trip. And I ended up going on the launch day of our new set, and the local was like really because like also I went kind of incognito, my like no one knew I worked there, so I was like kind of just like browsing it out, checking to see how like it actually is, and like
Hmm.
everyone was like just super nice to me. Like I didn't even say I worked there. It was like, oh, I see you checking out Grand Archive, let me know if you like need help building a deck and stuff.
Hmm.
And it was like pitching me the recollection, so like, oh, let me pitch you the recollections.
That's really
So
cool.
it was like super funny, and so they ended up competing with the recollection, so like they was like building upon it, and like the top 4 people of the tournament ended up like winning with like the recollection decks. And it was like, and it was like a
Wow.
lot of new people too, and it was like, whoa, it's like so cool, I just got this thing, and I'm like beating people up. And it was like really funny too.
That's
So like the
awesome.
recollections are great, and like it's like in the 2 types of recollection there's two, it's like there's like pretty different from each other. So it's like it's really fun, and I think it's a good entry because like of course we have the starter decks and stuff, and like we have like so you can build upon it because
Hmm.
like MRC, our latest set, is an expansion set technically.
Hmm.
So basically it means it expands upon all the previous cards, so there's no like new characters in it.
Right.
It expands upon everything prior, so it was really good game. So like people buy a starter deck, it's like, you know, they could build upon it their decks and learn. So like it's doing like it's growing very well. Like the market for our latest set is selling out. Like it's like the drought right now. It's just like selling because when we release it, it's released in first edition.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it's selling out really, really quickly, and it's been out now. So people are like building their deck, strategizing, and the YouTube space for Grand Archive is really, really solid. So everyone is like super like into like telling people the best strategies, the
Hmm.
entry level, like how to go. There's always like coverage, and then we have like an index with full on database. And Omnidex is like our organized play service, and there you can see like what events are hosted like in your area. You can
Uh-huh.
type in your address or zip code, you can
That's
see
cool.
all the stores that sells it, and you can see all the stores that actually host events.
Uh-huh.
And then in addition to that, it's like it's just super good, and organized play is very strategized.
Wow.
It's like a point based system too, so you get rewarded for attending these locals. So like if you locals, you get like points through the thing, and if you get like high enough points, you get like special like promo cards exclusive for your ranking. Like it's like some Riot Games type thing, like, you know, you get like the points up, you get like a rank, so you get like benefits
That's
from competing.
wow. Oh wow.
And to
That's really
me,
cool.
in card games, that's super innovative because I love the art, I love everything about Grand Archive, but what really sells me is like the innovation of the game and
Hmm.
everything it's doing, especially with like our tournament series. Like
Hmm.
we announced our basically our entire year circuit of our
Oh
organized
yeah, I saw
play.
that post. Yeah.
So it's like it's really impressive, and the community is just growing and growing because like it's always something to look forward to because there's going to be regionals, nationals, ascents, and there's always like locals. The local scenes are growing. There's definitely some states that could use the extra push,
Uh-huh.
like with product and tournament stuff. But like a lot of people are getting in the game, and it's like getting big just through word of mouth and people checking it out and stuff. And
Hmm.
we actually starting to do learn to play sessions.
Yeah.
So we started doing that. I think we tested it out in 3 states so far, and we've seen like pretty good success from it. So, and we got a lot of like basically our goal is to turn these people who like interested in the game and turn them into like reoccurring people at the locals, really build the scene. So the game is doing really well, and it's growing at a rapid rate, because like from when I first started to now, with only been such a short amount of time, I'm seeing quite the difference in the community. So it's definitely doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, like for a card game that's like not well, it's a year now.
Yeah,
or,
it just hit 1 year old.
okay, yeah, for a card game that's been out for only a year, to hear all that as like, you know, a point system, like these like starter decks that you can or these like friendly like the $60 decks that you can start off with and like still compete with, like the strategy, what they're doing compared to other card game companies is so different. And I like that, like, because like Bushiroad and like Yu-Gi-Oh, like they don't really it's like, hey, we have these products, go buy them kind of thing. They don't really help out new players or anything like that. So that's really cool. I really like how Grand Archive is really pushing for like, you know, new players to come in, and the community just sounds great as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's also like, I just gotta say the quality of like the card game itself is just so good. Like the card stock that's on the card, the artwork, like it's all high quality stuff. Like as I said, like I own like basically every game, like every like Japanese anime game, Pokemon. I played Yu-Gi-Oh when I was super little. I never played like Magic the Gathering or anything. But like from what I know, like this is some real competition here, and the quality is just so, this is really good, and it's like people are like really recognizing that, and it's like great, because like there's a lot of like, it's like most like, it's like so organic the way community is growing. Like all it takes is for two people to play it in a card shop, and some guy like, oh, what's that, and they're like so passionate about it, they tell them about it. It's like, oh man, because like I heard the story from like the New Jersey local. It was basically like two people just playing the game, like they're just friends and they didn't like want to play in each other's house, so they ended up just going to the local shop that sells Pokemon cards, and they ended up playing it, and then people kept on walking up to them like, oh, what game is that, and what game is, and it happened to the point where two other people started playing, so it ended up becoming 4 people, and then just expanding like that. So then like one guy ended up donating like all of his bulk to the store for people to like buy singles to build decks, and then now it just expanded just like that, and this is just one local, and like I hear similar stories like that for like so many. So it's just super interesting. Everyone's super friendly from like everything I experienced.
That's awesome. Like, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I definitely have to give Grand Archive a try. I really do. We are going a little bit over the time here. I don't want to keep you up too late, because I know it's like really late for you right now.
Yeah, it's all good.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely will get in the Grand Archive, and again, really appreciate you talking about what your work, social media and stuff like that. I'm sure everyone has seen your work somewhere online, right? Because I mean, if you've made graphic designs for ANN, Crunchyroll and stuff like that, then yeah, they definitely have to see it. But like Solo Leveling's huge. Like, who would have thought that you worked on that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because like I know that manhwa, or the physical version, is doing really well here in America.
Yes, it's performing very, very well.
Yeah, that's wow. Like, dude, you're helping with that. That's crazy.
Yes.
Wow. But okay, yeah. But anyways, again, thank you very much for coming on, Jaden. Really appreciate it. If you don't mind me telling the people where they can find you on social media or anything.
Yeah, so you can find me on social media at Blasu, pretty much everywhere. I want to start making content again too, so you can follow me on YouTube Toonie. I plan on doing a lot of like anime merch. If you're in the Sir Magical Index series, definitely check that out. So yeah, definitely look forward to it. My Twitter is like very random, but I do like showcase some of the work here and there.
Oh, so, yeah, that's really cool. Like I love looking at your pictures when you go to the conventions and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, that's really cool. I wish I wish I was at Anime New York. I wish I was at like over there kind of thing. Like, I'm always jealous sometimes when I see those pictures. So, but I mean, you're coming to Anime Expo, right?
Yep, I'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can maybe see each other at Anime Expo. That'd be really cool. Yeah.
That'd be super sick.
Yeah, I mean, Grand Archive is going to be at Anime Expo, right?
Yeah, we're going to have a huge booth in the exhibitor hall and entertainment hall. So it's pretty big. That's
gonna be crazy. Definitely got to check that out. But all right, man. Again, thank you. Really appreciate you coming on. For those who again are interested in following Jaden, all his links are going to be in the description below. Give him a follow and a subscribe on his YouTube. Again, thank you. Really appreciate it. And yeah, hope to see you at Anime Expo.
Yep, I'll see you there. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Have a good one. All right, bye.